sure we can start now. Yeah, just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's start with the last session of this faculty development program, that is on LLM alignment via reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards. So that will be led by Mr. Hrithik Saroja. We have Mr. Hrithik Saroja. He's a lead full stack AIML and data scientist with a strong foundation in data driven concepts, including machine learning, deep learning, NLP, AI, statistical modeling. He's proficient in programming languages such as Python with a focus on data pre-processing and model building techniques in artificial intelligence. He currently serves as an AI machine learning engineer in Clarity. Sir, we feel so privileged to have you here as a session speaker today. A very warm welcome to you, sir. You can take over the session.
Yes, Shubha. Yeah, thank you so much for this grand welcome. So, and thanks everyone for joining this session, first of all. Yeah, so I'm Ritik Jha, and currently I'm working as an AI engineer. And also, I'm conducting sessions on these topics related to the data science or machine learning or the AI. Okay, so let's start the session now. Then we'll go deep dive into these topics. So let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, so the topic is itself suggests that it is LLM alignment via reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards. Okay, so let me explain you the session plan, and then we will go deep dive into this part. Okay, so the plan is very simple. We just have to understand the three things about this topic. That is what? Just give me a second. We just have to understand the three topics of this part. That is what, why, and how. Okay. If we understand these three things about this topic, then we can go deep dive into this part. Okay. So let's start this, like what is LLM alignment. So let me make a white pen of this. Yeah. So first of all, let me open this PPT. Yeah. So what is LLM alignment? So LLM alignment is nothing but a human brain which we have to make them align to speak as per the human needs. Okay. So what does it mean? So let me clarify you this point. So think that LLM, right? That is large language model. Okay, think large language model as a human brain. This is nothing but a human brain who can speak, not speak, but generate something for you like a human, but who don't have anything restrictions. Okay, they don't have any kind of restrictions. It means it is a human brain in form of child, a child who can speak, who can think, who can answer you, but don't have any kind of alignment what they want to speak, why they want to speak, and how they want to speak as per the human needs, right? Sometimes in the household itself, a child speaks something, but it is not be relevant to the things which we are expecting. And that is nothing but the LLM alignment. We want to align a large language model in such a way that it can generate not only a human like a thing, but behave like a human needs, right? So most of the agentic AI currently in the market, backend in the end, they are using this LLMs, right? They are using this LLMs. So LLMs are nothing but the brain for them, but they are integrating this brain with the some tools, and this combination is nothing but the agentic AI. Agentic AI. Okay. But this agentic AI earlier is totally depends upon the human to update their way of answering the question. Okay. So earlier what people are doing, like in case of chat GPT itself, how chat GPT grow in their market. So what they have done in 2019 or 2020, throughout this duration, this model is getting developed very well. Okay. But later on, they got to know that the two problems inside that it is not the updated one. Means it cannot generate the real time answers based upon the human questions. Like if I ask them, like who won the last match between, let's say, Australia or England, it might be not able to generate. Why? Because that is the latest news, right? But later on, as the model is developing day by day, what companies have done, they have integrated this agentic AI to their LLM and put the complete full-fledged project in the agentic AI. But still there is some kind of problem due to which some versions of GPT have came into the market. The version itself is not only for the improvement in their model, but also some ethical reason, some kind of human based feedback, and some kind of development in terms of generation, right? So now this chat GPT in currently, like in 2025, if you ask, this chat GPT is nothing but looks like a agentic AI who will not going to answer like a human, but also going to do a task for you, right? So what the OpenAI, a company who have designed this chat GPT, have taken some kind of initiative. What kind of initiative they have taken? They have taken the following initiative. Like what we will do, we will generate two types of question answers for the user. Okay, let's say answer one, and answer two. Now the human have to evaluate whether he is happy with this answer or this answer. And back in the end, the model will going to implement itself, and back in the end it will update their logic, and in the next time when same type of action will going to perform, the model will going to define a right answer, a good answer, which will going to meet the expectation of the user. That is the goal earlier of the other companies like OpenAI and all. Okay, so how they are doing this back in the end, there is a concept called it as a reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning. Okay. So first of all, let me clarify you what is reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is nothing but a learning from the environment, and when same task going to be happen over and again, the model will going to give a good output as compared to the previous one. Let's take an example. If someone asks me that what is the roadmap to learn the agentic AI, and I have suggested something, and I have told him that please don't do the following things. But still that human have followed that thing which I asked not to follow. In that case, what the human will going to do? The human will going to learn. What they will going to learn? They will learn from the actions. But what kind of actions? Might be he will not get pleased, or might be he is not be compatible with the market standard. Might be he will not be able to develop a product what he is required, right? In that case, the learning is done from the environment. And how this learning is working back in the end? Back in the end, a human is performing some kind of task. That task is getting evaluated, means on the basis of market scenario, and on the basis of this, the human itself giving some kind of rewards. Okay, rewards. Either a positive reward or a negative reward. And on the basis of them, it will going to go back and update their model. Update their model means they are going to update their syllabus or way of learning the things or way of improving the content of the syllabus, so that when next time the same thing they have to design, the output will be best on the top. That is nothing but your reinforcement learning. A simple example you can think, in your home, if there is some kind of board which is having electrical shock, let's say, okay, electrical shock, and you are telling your child that please don't touch this. If you touch this, you will going to get punishment some kind of. But still the child is doing some kind of things like touching this electrical board and getting a negative reward. Then from that point of time, this child will not be going to do the same mistake if it is learning from their mistakes, right? That is nothing but your reinforcement learning. So let's correlate how companies like OpenAI or any big giant company like Anthropic, you can say a Grok or Copilot, how they have integrated this. So let's discuss this part. So uh, earlier in 2022, I was working for one of the company. That is one of the company. They have multiple sister company. Okay. So what OpenAI or you can say Anthropic, what they are doing, they are hiring some kind of agencies. Okay, agencies. What these agencies are doing, these agencies having multiple sister companies. Okay, like one example is Soul AI. Then we have Deccan AI. These are nothing but the companies. What they are doing, these agencies are nothing but improving their OpenAI, Anthropic, and all kind of LLM based model and working for their client like OpenAI client, Google client, then Anthropic to develop their model and generate the response which will not hurt the human, which will not hurt the human sentiment. Okay. So how they are doing? So these agencies is hiring some people. Okay. And these people will going to evaluate what they are going to evaluate. They will evaluate the generated answer from the OpenAI and from the Anthropic, and it will going to do some kind of changes. Let's say if I ask the model to do any complex mathematical operation, let's say something like this: 7 plus 2 minus 14 divided by 12, right? In this case, the model like OpenAI, like ChatGPT and all will going to generate some answer, right? But back in the end, might be the model will not be implement the BODMAS rule. That is, they wants to calculate the bracket based operation, then division, then subtraction. Might be the model will going to generate a wrong answer in that case. So now it's the responsibility of the human to evaluate the answer and optimize the answer, like how the human will going to approach and solve that problem which is generated by the LLM. Now that LLM again it will going to generate the answer. Okay, again it will generate the answer. Now again the human will going to evaluate this model, whether the model have been improved or not. So this is how the agencies are working for this big giant company like OpenAI and all. Okay. Now, yeah. So first of all, this topic is nothing but this is call it as a RLHF. That is reinforcement learning based on human feedback. Means human is trying to evaluate the model manually and trying to rectify the model and asking the model to generate a correct answer when same type of task is been happening over and again. Means you are making someone a logically correct, right? So this is how earlier the companies is working. But there is one problem in this approach. The first problem is cost. So first of all, you have to invest the money. You have to hire the agencies who will going to perform the task like this for you. Okay. The second problem is the quality. Okay. So you might get the quality what human are expecting, but the problem is that the human will not be going to develop the answer for every question which they are going to ask with the chat GPT or any kind of GPT models. So we cannot improve every quality of answer which the humans are asking from the AI based model. So this is the second problem. The third major problem is related to time. As we always know, if human is interfering in any part of the work, the time will going to be happen, right? And that is why the existence of AI has came into the market. So to reduce the human time, to increase the quality of work, to make the things very faster. But still the companies are facing these three problems. So later on what they have done, they have moved to a new approach. New approach. Okay. What is the new approach? Let's discuss this part. The new approach is very simple. What we will do, we will create one documentation. Okay. A documentation which will going to have some kind of ethics, or you can say a basic answer of the given question. So let's say if I am developing a tool which is for a government, okay, or of for any program like this program we have that we are learning. Okay. So what we will do, we will put all the information which is very much important inside this document, like who are the trainer, what topics they are going to cover, in how many hours they are going to cover, all the answers related to it. Okay. Now, if we are having any AI tool which is directly connected to my database, this database is nothing but the entire information of this syllabus, like what are the topics are there, who will going to take. Okay. Now user is coming to this platform and asking, tell me the topic which is going to be covered today. Okay. And this model have told that it will going to cover LLM via reinforcement learning with the verifiable rewards. So in that case, the model will going to do a +1 sign to the given task. But if any kind of hallucination is done by the model will going to give the negative reward, and it will not be going to give directly a negative reward, but what it will do, it will ask the model to go back and learn from this document to generate the correct response. Okay. So this is one of the example where you can think that the human is not being presented, right? How human is not presented? Like in this case, we are not asking human to evaluate the answer. We are saying the model to go back, evaluate the documentation, look for the answer. If your answers are not correct, then give yourself a negative feedback and retrain on that part, on that data set, and then generate the answers. This is how the new approach currently in the market they are using. So it will not only reduce your cost, but it is also reducing your time, right? So now we are much be confident like what is the RLHF model and what is basically the LLM alignment. Now let's discuss like why this existence, like why it came into the market and when it came into the market. Okay. So that's very simple. When the topic of agentic AI came into the market, the very first thing that companies have approached to create a platform where user can do a coding. Okay. A coding platform where can write a prompt, the agentic AI will going to perform the entire system for you. Let's say if I'm asking that create a front end plus backend for me plus database connectivity. Okay. Apart from this, I want to create any forms or PPTs or like this. So we can do it using the agentic AI. But back in the end, agentic AI is not only have to do a single thing, but they have to debug also, right? So in the earlier approach of the AI, we are using the tools like ChatGPT to generate a code, but it is not going to execute for you and going to make a full-fledged project for you. You have to do it manually. You have to open your Visual Studio, you have to open your folder, you have to create a file, you have to copy it and paste it over there. Then there might be some kind of bugs, then you have to copy again, go back to the chat gpt, again it will going to modify your answer, right? That is the approach till then you are using. But from the era of agentic AI, these things are getting automated using tools. When tools are getting integrated with LLMs, the things are become very easier, right? The debugging is become very easier. So whenever the model is facing any kind of debugs or any kind of errors, it is back in the end trying to evaluate again and optimize the code and giving you the correct result. So back in the end, every model having some kind of test cases. So if your code is following the entire test cases and following all the rules, then it will going to give you the full-fledged project. Or else in the end, it will provide a negative feedback or a negative reward and the model will optimize again. Okay. This is how the agentic AI works in the case of coding platform. So in this also, the model is updating based upon the test cases. You might be seen in HackerRank also. Like in HackerRank, whenever you write any kind of code, okay, so there you have to clear a multiple test cases, like 15 or something like 20 test cases you have to clear. But at the same time, if I want to automate the coding part, then back in the end, the model is evaluating using these test cases. So using these test cases, the model will going to pass the code to the hacker end, trying to solve the problem and implement this test case. If it is matching the 100%, then the model will going to give you the right result and the end result. So this is also one of the example. Okay. So now let's back to the PPT part. Let's discuss in very deep some more part. So you can see that there is three things which is been aligned in the LLM alignment. One is problem, one is solution, and one is goal. Okay. So the problem is very simple. The problem is that the human is not happy with the answer, or the human is able to see the biasness in the answer, or human is saying some kind of answer which is harmful for them. Harmful means some kind of sentiment hurted, right? So let's say if I ask like the next match is between Australia and England, the Ashes, who will going to win? So I am not expecting based upon the previous statistics the model would say the Australia or the England would win the match. Instead, what the model should do, the model should interpret it back in the end and answer like in terms of statistics, not pass direct answer like England will win the match or something like this. This is the problem. That your problem is you have to make sure that humans should not be hurted. Your answer should not be a biased and your answer should be a correct. It means it should follow the correctness of the questions. Okay. Then what is the solution? The solution is very simple. Make the model align. Align means make your model based upon human feedback or either from some documentation you can verify whether the answer generated by the LLM is been correct or whether it is biased or not or whether it is hurting anyone's sentiments or not. So this is the solution. And what is the goal? The goal is to make the answer reliable, to have to meet the human basic needs, or you can say to meet the human act, or you can say a best version of the answer that human is expecting, right? The real world example is ChatGPT. This is one of the best example that we are using day to day life. right? The model is generating some kind of answers, which back in the end, they have hired so many agencies to make their model very perfect so that it will going to match their answer with their different databases and should generate a real world answers. Then Claude is also one of the best platform. Why? Because Claude is one of the best MCP based platform where where already the agentic AI has been implemented. Okay. So Claude have also developed a very well in this domain. The next one is medical AI. So medical AI is one of the boom technology currently we are using. But how? It's very simple. Like now we are trying to integrate this AI system into this medical to generate some kind of answers to the human to their problems. So let's say if someone have generated any kind of bot where human can interact with the doctor, but in front of them, the doctor is not been there. There is a bot. So if I'm saying, hey, I am having some kind of issues. So let's say I'm speaking in Hindi to this doctor. So the model should have a capability to speak with me in any language, right? So this kind of things the model have to arrange from themselves in the back in the end based upon this LLM alignment. So your model should be aligned based upon the human needs. Okay. Now, next, this is the flow that LLM will going to generate the response. The response is going to be get evaluated from the human and then it will going to give the reward, either positive reward or the negative reward. Okay. So this is just a forward inputs from the user and the generated answer from the model and the rewards. That's it. So back in the end, it will going to evaluate the answer, okay? Or either human can evaluate the answer using a technique called RLHF, that is reinforcement learning based on human feedback, okay? Then based upon that, the model will going to learn what mistakes they have done, and again it will going to generate the answer, which will going to mark the expectation of the customer or the client. And this process will going to be repeated again and again. Okay. So like one example they have given that OpenAI chat GPT. So the OpenAI chat GPT earlier it was trained. So let me explain this part. Okay. So earlier the chat GPT is nothing but your LLM, right? So in 2017, when the paper of transformer released in the market, the people have get a good kind of attention on this paper. The paper is nothing but attention all you need. Attention all you need. So people have got to know that there is some kind of different architecture which is came into the market, which is same like encoder and decoder, but inside this encoder and decoder, what people have done, the people have done the model to think like a human context. Means it is able to understand a human context. Human context. So what is the meaning of human context? So let's take a basic example. Let's say you have two sentences. Bank river and second one is money bank. Okay. In both the cases, bank is same. So earlier the model which is designed by any big company like Google and all, like they also have worked earlier on some models like LSTMs and all. But in that case, they are interpreting bank as a same kind of quantity. They are assuming that bank is nothing but a wealth. But in these two sentences, you can see the bank river is referring to that there is a curved type of road near to the bank. And money bank is actually a wealth related. So in transformer architecture, the scientists have integrated that the context of the bank is been different in this sentence and the context of the bank is been different in this sentence. So they have created this architecture, call it as a transformer. Once the transformer is get ready, most of the company have started designing their own product like OpenAI. So OpenAI have created one product called it as a GPT. So T is nothing here, but it is nothing but a transformer only. Transformer. And Google have also started their working on one project, and that project is nothing but BERT. BERT. Okay. So OpenAI have generated this GPT model, this transformer based architecture, and created one LLM. So the journey of transformer to LLM is nothing but what they have done. They have taken this architecture and they have trained this architecture on all the data set which has been presented, like books, or you can say Wikipedia data, or you can say social media data, right? So on all the data, the model is get trained. So now it become LLM. But after this LLM, now if we want to convert this LLM to actually a product called GPT or a chat GPT, then we have to make this model align with the human needs. Like it should not answer something very differently. Let's say if I asking the model that how to create a bomb, that is not correct, right? We are expecting that the model should give me the answer that this is not the appropriate and we are not here to design this part. So there is so many version upgradation has been done by these companies to make this legally authorized, right? So this is why a multiple version of GPT came into the market. So this is the journey of LLM to chat GPT. But still the people is facing this error that chat GPT is nothing but it is just a generator tool, right? Generative tool who can generate for you like a text or images like this, but it will not going to do any kind of work for you. Like if I ask them tell me today's date, so it might be not able to tell you at that period of time. Why? Because at that point of time it is just a generative tool, and then it's get converted to the agentic AI. But during this journey, the people have integrated the concept called it as a RLHF, where the companies is trying to make their model such a reliable. So if user is asking any question to this model, the model should meet the expectation of the user. It should not be a random answer, but it should meet the expectation of the user. So that is why they have integrated this, where they are asking manually from the user whether you like this response or this response. Or apart from this, they have also hired some agencies that I have explained you. But now they have shifted to the very basic approach, very best approach, cost effective approach, that is reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards. Okay. So this is the journey of it. So let me go next. Yeah. So just a second. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the architecture. So think this as a prompt. Okay. A prompt is nothing but you are passing to the LLM that let's say think yourself as a cricket specialist and tell me who have won the last match between Australia and England. Okay. So you are passing the inputs as well as a prompt also. Like think like a human, or not think like a human, but think like a cricket specialist and tell me the answer. The LLM will going to generate the output. The output is earlier be evaluated by the human. After evaluating, the model is giving some kind of reward. After the reward, the model is trying to update their LLM, and again this LLM will going to generate the output, and so on the things will going to be happen. This is how RLHF working back in the end. Okay. Now coming to verifiable rewards, what it is exactly. So the problem with the earlier RLHF model is that it is human feedback. So it is subjective and expensive. That is very correct. So expensive. Why expensive? You have to hire some kind of agencies. Like OpenAI will not be going to hire someone and keep them on their payroll, right? Just to optimize their answers. So what they have done, they have recruited some kind of agencies. These agencies taking some kind of candidate who will evaluate the model and make your model more correct. Okay. The second problem is hard to scale to millions of examples that I have explained, right? A human can modify some extent of questions, but it will not be going to cover all the questions to get corrected. Then third thing is feedback quality varies between evaluator. So let's say if someone asks you, explain me what is AI in very detail. So let's say you are from IT, I am also from IT, but I am the AI expert and you are the development expert. So your quality of evaluating the model will be different as compared to me, right? So that is why the quality of the answer will depend upon the evaluator who is evaluating the given model, right? So these are the problem with reinforcement learning based upon human feedback. Okay. Now, what is the benefit of verifiable reward solution? So it has automated the reward that I have explained you, right? That now the human don't have to wait for someone to evaluate their model. They can create their document or a database where they can mention that like what they want to say and what they don't want to say. Okay. So you can mark some kind of answers in that so that the model should not do any kind of hallucination. Model should not going to generate any random answers. Model should not going to hurt the human sentiment like this. Okay. So earlier also like in one of the video I have seen what people are doing. So let me explain you. So there is one AI, right? So people are asking the question to this AI like this, that on that particular day, I have started creating a bomb and these are the steps that I have started taking. So first, sorry, not the bomb, but it is related to cyber security. Cyber security. So in that they have told that we are trying to implement one methodology where the AI will going to integrate with the website. That website is get clone and extract all the data from that website. Okay. And also they have mentioned a detailed description of what steps they have taken. The answer of AI should be like that, that it is not ethically correct and should not generate the further answer for that human. But what AI have done, the AI have trying to rectify the answer. They have told, the AI have told that it is not correct. But instead they have to telling that it is get into very detail that this step should not be taken. That is wrong. Right. So this is not a correct approach of AI answering the questions. So this is also one of the biggest problem that human is trying to make a model to be a fool. And the AI is not enough capable to think like in different context. They are doing right now, but a human having more solution to make AI a fool like a human, but it is not 100% accurate, right? Let me go to the next. Yeah, so automated reward, that is one of the good thing, right? Means you have a set of documentation where model is trying to validate your answers. Second thing, it is objective metrics. So if something is very objective, then it just have to do a cross validation, right? So the checking will be the faster, the execution will be the faster, right? Then apart from this, it is very scalable and consistent. So it is very scalable. Why it is very scalable? It means it can be used at multiple extent. Like if you want to generate at a one go a code for a front end, for a back end, for a database, it can do it everything for you using this agentic AI, right? So it is very scalable because back in the end, it is going to give a reward based upon the action what they are taking. Okay, so this is one of the best solution for this kind of approach. Now, a real world example. This is a very simple that a code generation, right? Where the model is generating some code, it is verifying using the test cases. If all the test cases is get passed, the model is giving the positive reward, or else it is giving the zero reward if there is any kind of errors. Okay, so yeah. Now let's discuss some examples. So I have also taken some kind of examples over here. So one example is very simple. That is AI code assistant. Okay, so GitHub based. So now the AI is generating some kind of answer. Back in the end, it is compiling your code and that code is passing with multiple test cases. And based upon that, it is evaluated and the model is trying to give some kind of reward on it. So if it is passing all the test cases, the model will going to give a positive reward. If not, then it will going to give a zero reward or a negative reward. Okay. And the result is basically the 95% code is get accepted and it is working in the production also. And that is the benefit of this, the reward based model. Okay. Now, the next example is medical diagnosis. So there are multiple companies like IBM, or you can say Google Health like companies. So what they have done, they have created one AI based bot where user can ask and provide some kind of problems to their bot. Okay, so let's say I am a healthcare, I am a patient and I want have some kind of problems, right? And I'm discussing with the chatbot. So what is the expectation? The chatbot, if they have don't have any kind of knowledge about particular symptoms or any particular problems, we are expecting the model should not answer anything. Okay. So the model should not hallucinate in that case. So that is a big challenge in that case because two sector is very important for the AI. One is healthcare and second one is finance. Even though currently in the market, the people are not utilizing AI in their financial domain. You have heard about they are using machine learning and all to make a prediction like how many loans we can provide to a particular customer, whether we should provide a loan to the customer or not. This kind of task can be done. But integrating directly the AI to the finance domain, that is not still has been taken into the place, right? So once this model is getting integrated to the finance domain, then we can say that, yeah, we have developed very much in this AI based domain. Okay. And medical diagnosis is one of the example where still it is in development. So there are multiple big giant company like Google DeepMinds and all. They are still working on this domain to integrate and to capture more RNA kind of structure or a DNA based structure. But still it is not has been implemented. Like they are implementing, they have designed their product, but still they have not integrated the entire part of the generative AI. Okay. Now let's see what is the problem in this. So the reward model will going to fast check against the medical database. So there is always be a medical database where all the information has been provided. Okay. Now as a patient I came to you and I have asked some question to you that I have this problem, and as a bot you have suggested me some answer. Okay. And let's say that answer have not worked for me. So back in the end, what you are going to do, you will verify that answer, whether it is correct with respect to the medical database or not. So you will do a cross reference with different databases, like PubMed is one of the brand, right? Where they have created a multiple guidelines for a particular symptoms and problems. Then there are so many medical guidelines are been there. So you can evaluate using that. Okay. So if the information is verified and accurate, then you can give a positive feedback to it. But at the same time, if it is not correct, then you will going to pass a negative feedback in that case. So again, the result is nothing but you will get the 98% of accuracy and the process will be very faster. How it is faster? It's very simple. Like if I have a problem and let's say it is night 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So it's not easier for me to someone to take me from my home to the hospital and make the availability of the doctor. As a AI domain, we are not trying to replace any kind of doctor. We just want to help the human to make the work very faster and implement everything so that the customer should not face any kind of queries. The life should not be gone. Okay. So that's the aim of this part. But at the same time, the companies are facing to create this kind of bots. Why? Because it is very sensitive. If you are passing any symptom to the model, and let's say you are saying that my heartbeat is X, Y, and Z, and multiple things you have said, and your model is saying that you don't have any kind of problem. And let's say on the next day you get some kind of very big problem and get into very trouble. So that is a bad thing, right? You cannot be trust on the AI based domain directly in this domain. So that's why the company is trying to create this kind of thing so that the every answer should be verified. Okay. So now reduce the false positive diagnosis by 60%. So sometimes also you will able to see that as a patient, you go to the doctor, you tell some kind of problem, and the doctor is making some more time, asking you to take some tablets and providing you some kind of dates, or saying you that go and have this kind of diagnosis. So you have to wait for the process, right? So that's why in that case, what you are trying to do as a doctor, you want to make not as a doctor, but you have to think like a doctor, where you can create a bot so that the bot will going to help it out, okay, to the humans at any point of time. Okay. Now, okay, so you might be thinking like, why the financial analysis, right, in AI? Yeah, still some companies are using this financial analysis, but it is not for automation. Huh? I'm still telling that AI having a different kind of role in the companies. Someone is using for a prediction, someone is using for a decision making, someone is using for a generative tool, someone is using for serving to the customer, right? But in finance analytics, the AI is not serving to the customer directly. If you go any kind of bank application or anywhere, you will not see a AI directly. Back in the end, they are using to predict the customer behavior, like what kind of customer are interested in which part, like they are interested in credit card, or whether they are interested in net banking, whether they are interested in loan or something like this. You can say a lead generation. Okay, in that case they are using, but they are not using to serve directly to the customer. Okay, so JPMC is one of the company who have developed back in the end their AI research based tool, and that tool is just to make the analytics more accurate. Like if user is doing some kind of calculation, okay, there might be some misclassification has been done, or either you are doing some using some Excel formula or any kind of formulas, you might be miss some part of it. So you can validate your answer using this tool, which is designed internally by this some giant companies like JPMC. Okay. So what they are trying to do, they are just verifying the calculation, what calculation you have done to get that particular the numbers that you have get right, or the accuracy of the data. So you can do it using this, but there is always be a verifier of that particular answer. Like the verifier can be a conditions. Like if user is asking that the sum of the total sale is this much, then you have to verify that the customer is including all the sales or not. Whether it is including the every product, every category, every region or not. So this is the verifier. Verifier means doesn't mean the answer. Verifier means the steps the AI should take to answer that question. Okay. So yeah, so verifier is very important. Then it comes to the reward. So the reward depends upon the answer. It can be either positive or it can be either negative. Okay. So it will not only going to just faster your process, it will going to evaluate or validate your answers. So your 99% of calculation will be accurate. It will going to help you in that part. Okay. And hallucination will also going to be decreased, which is one of the best thing. Okay. Now the next example is text generation. Okay. So text generation is one of the best example that you can take for verifiable rewards. Okay. So what kind of text generation they are using and how they are implementing. So let's discuss this part, and we will also see one practical implementation on this for this same part, that is text generation. Okay. So look, so there is one application called it as a Grammarly. Okay. So it will going to generate a text for you. But sometimes what it is trying to do earlier in their product, it is trying to hallucinate some kind of answers, right? Which is factually not correct, and contextually you can say it is incorrect. Okay. So in that case, you want to make sure that text generation model, which is designed by this company, should be accurate, should not hallucinate, should not go deep dive into that part so that the human have to wait for it. Okay. So what they can do, they can verify that answer, that whether the answer which is generated by the human, it is meeting the expectation of the customer or not. Okay. So the same example I will take. So if I ask if I ask a question that who won the who won the last Ashes test match between Australia and England. So if I ask this question, I'm expecting the model should be up to date and should generate that answer for me. Okay. So if your LLM, if you are directly picking some LLM, the LLM will not be going to have a current knowledge of your product or the current knowledge of your system. So you have to make sure at some place you should able to keep everything at a single place, and the model should verify whether that answer which is being generated, it is factually correct or not. Okay. So this is one of the examples. So let me show you the practical implementation of this as well. Okay. So first complete this part. Let's. Okay. So AI generates fluent text that looks correct but contain factual error or hallucination, which is very correct. So the answer which is generated by the AI tool, in case of Grammarly, sometimes it is not factually correct. Okay. So in that case, you have to evaluate based upon the answer generated, whether that answer meeting all the expectation or not, whether it is not hurting the human sentiment. Second thing, the answer is been validated or not. Third thing, whether the answer is storing every context of the question or not. Okay. Like if I am giving a series of steps for a AI model to do, the model should generate the all the steps which is been required by the human. So you can evaluate that as well. So you can keep a reward model between this, where you can put a positive reward and a negative reward. Okay. So if your model is factually correct and meeting all the required expectation, then you can say that yes, your model has been perfect. Okay. And if not, like if your model is hallucinating or if your model is having any plagiarism issues, then you can give some kind of rewards to it. Okay. And what is the benefit of it? It is going to reduce the 40% manual proofreading of these things. Like you don't have to keep any RLHF model or any human in the loop to evaluate your answer, right? So 95% the things are factually correct and it should be matched with your databases. So that is a benefit. Okay. Yeah. So let's see this implementation of this part. Let me show you. So let me show you first the flow, like how the flow will going to work. Just give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So the flow is very simple. Uh, the user the user will going to ask a question. Okay. So this will be your input. Okay. And this is your LLM. This is your LLM. So this is your input and you are a client and this is your customer. So as a client, you have to pass some prompt. So let's say the prompt will be, you are passing the prompt to this LLM that think like a cricket analytics or think like a business analytics or something like this. Okay. So you are passing the input, you are passing the prompt. Okay. This LLM will going to generate the output for you. Output for you. Okay. Now, this output will going to pass it to the model, and that model is nothing but RL based model. Okay. So here we have written some logic, like we are going to check with one document, and we will match the output which is generated. It is matching with the document or not. Okay. So based upon this, there will be two cases. One, it will be negative feedback, and second, it will be positive feedback. Okay. If it is negative feedback, we will go back and ask the model to update it. So I will ask the model to update their knowledge. But if it is correct, I will ask the model to display the output. To display the output. And this is how the flow we are going to implement. Okay. So your model will be of two types. One is LLM and one is RL based. LLM will going to take the input from the user and it will going to take a prompt from the user, not from the user but from the client, like how they want to generate the answer. Okay, or you can say a format of the answer or a kind of the answer. The LLM will generate the output. That output will going to get evaluated by a reinforcement learning based model where RL is nothing but a thing where you are keeping your model with the environment also. So your model is connected with the environment. It means your model is connected with some database where it will verify your answer, whether that is factually correct or whether it is generating the human based answer or not, or whether it is following all the things which is required for the AI model to be in the control or not. Okay. So this is the benefit. And if the RL is giving two kinds of reward, either negative, either positive. If it is negative, then the LLM will going to update. If it is positive, then it will display to the end user. Okay. So yeah, this is the flow, guys. So if you want to take any kind of screenshot of this, you can take. Okay. Yeah. And just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. Till then, you can take the screenshot of that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let me share my screen again. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just give me a second. Mm. Yeah, so this is the architecture, and we are going to program this. So yeah, so throughout this curriculum, I hope so you have already been understood about some topics which is done by some speakers, like about the LLMs, how to generate the answer from the LLM, how to fine tune the LLM, and how the transformer is look like, and how to control the model from the hallucinations. Okay, so most of the things are you been already be aware. Okay, so now in the next part we are going to discuss about this, that in this flow that I have designed, this is the flow that I have already coded. I will show you like how the things are working. So this is the basic architecture. User is coming, passing the input. That input is passing to the LLM. The client is also passing one prompt. Prompt plus input feed to the LLM. LLM generating the output. Output is passing to the RL based model. RL based model doing the kind of validation, okay, based upon the answer generated by the LLM, and back in the end it will update the LLM or either it will display to the user based upon the feedback. Okay, so yeah, so let me show you this. Okay, so first of all, everyone, like you just have to import or install the OpenAI. So from OpenAI you just have to import this OpenAI. Let me zoom it first. Yeah, so you just have to install the OpenAI. In the normal collab you can do, okay, just a simple implementation you are trying to do, and you can put your API key. So once you run this part, it will going to ask you one API key with you. I have already given and run this code. So if you have your open API key, then it will be well and good. If not, then you can take it from here. So if you can go on open AI key, okay, so you can take it from open AI router or something like this. Okay, so yeah, so explore the API key. So from here you can see, right, the pricing and all, and one of the developer tool. This is one of the API based tool. Okay, so from here you can purchase the API's key and all. But for now, you just have to enter your API key. That's it. Now, in this case, look into this part. So, first of all, you will pass the correct answer. Okay. So, think it like this, that this is your document. Okay. That I already know the answer, that Australia won by 8 wickets. So, if someone asking the question that who won the last ODI match between Australia and England and by how many runs or wickets, so I already have the answer that Australia won by 8 wickets. Okay. So think in this way. Where is my notebook? Yeah. So think it like this. So in my RL model or the RL based approach, already I have one document, a single variable where I have already told it that Australia have won by 8 wickets. Okay. So let me show you their last match. So yeah, so this is their last match. Okay. This is their last uh, test series match, which has been taken like few days back only, where Australia have won by 8 wickets. So in a single variable, we already have put in the questions, the answer. Now you have to create a three things. One is reward, response, and prompts. So let me go back. So you want three things: rewards, response, and prompts. Okay. Because if you see into this part, the every flow, what the flow is look like. So look, so reward, so from where reward you are getting, from this part, right? From this part you are getting the reward. Where the response part, you are getting the response from this arrow. Okay. Where is the prompt? The prompt is getting from here. So these three things are denoting these three boxes, right? These three boxes, how the flow is working. So you want to know that what response is generating, then you have to compare this response with the actual document. Actual document means where you have created like your answers like this. Okay. And then finally your prompts. Okay. So that your model should be aware about your prompts, like how they wants to think, like think like a cricket analytics, or think like a sportsman, right? So look, so we have three things. The next thing is basically temperature. Temperature is nothing, but why this temperature I have given? Just a second, yeah. So why the temperature is 1.8? So let me explain you what is temperature first of all. Uh, Temperature is nothing but a different type of answer we are trying to generate. So let's take an example. If I ask a model to create one poem for me, okay. So the poem will be of three types. A simple poem, right? A simple poem means which is same like my question, like which is not been very much different. Okay. If I have given a topic, call it as a cat. So the model will going to generate a simple poem for me on the cat. But if I am giving a high temperature, means high randomness, if we are passing, the model will going to give me answer very differently. Differently means very unique answer. Unique answer. Okay. So if you want more uniqueness in your answer, you just have to keep your temperature high. So if your temperature is high, your answer would be very unique. Okay. If your temperature is low, your answer will be very simple or correct. Okay. So you can think it like this. Like earlier, there is one company who is working on one model, call it as a GANS model. That is generative adversarial network. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to create one generator and discriminator. Generator and discriminator. So generator is generating the image. Discriminator is telling whether that image is real or fake. And the aim of this generator to make this discriminator fool. Fool means the discriminator should not be able to identify whether that data has been real or fake. So that is the aim of this generator. Okay. So in the same way, if you want very unique answer, means your generator should be very much unique. Your generator should going to have a very high temperature. But if you want the same answer, which you are passing the data to this generator, okay. So let's say you have given a cat images. So a simple cat image will be generated by the generator, and discriminator will easily identify whether it is real or fake. Okay. So if you are keeping low temperature, your model will going to generate the factual answer. Factual means correct answer. But if your temperature is high, then your model will going to give some random answer or some very unique answer. So that's why I have given a temperature very high. You can see, right? 1.8. Now, in the next step, you have to pass your prompt. Okay, what is your prompt? So your prompt will be very simple, that as a user, you are asking the question that who won the last ODI match between Australia and England, and by how many runs or wickets. This is a simple question by a user. Now, this prompt will going to pass to this AI model. So let me show you here. So now, yeah. So now your input or a prompt, you can say, pass it to this LLM. Okay. So this LLM will going to take a user input and will going to generate a system output. Not system output, sorry, AI output. Yeah. So it will generate the AI output. Now this AI output will going to get evaluated, and it will going to get evaluated using the documents. Okay. So let me go back. Yeah. So it will going to generate the answer, that is your response one. Okay. Now it is a turn of the reward. So it will going to check whether that answer which is generated by the AI model. So this is the AI model generated the answer. Okay. So the question is, who won the last ODI match between Australia and England and how many runs? This is given by the user. Now the AI model have generated the answer. The last ODI match between Australia and England was on September 19, which is very wrong. Okay. This is not correct. Like this is not up to the date model. And Australia won by 19 run, which is totally wrong. Okay. So if your answer is wrong, you can see that negative reward has been given. Okay. Now we are passing the real context. The real context is basically the correct answer, that Australia won by 8 wickets. So now it will get the answer. Now the model is trying to evaluate, trying to generate the answer again, that sorry about that, Australia indeed achieved victory by 8 wickets. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. And this -1 is denoting the rewards which is generated by the previous answer. Means this answer is generated based upon the negative reward which is generated earlier by the same model. Okay. And now it looks more correct and more factual. All right. So this is a very simple example that we have implemented, but in companies, what big giants companies they are trying to do, they are creating so many things, like they are creating a separate databases, okay, and where they are writing all kind of rules. Then apart from this, they are writing so many things of prompts, like how to behave. Then apart from all the ethical rules, so all the things are basically they are keeping at one databases. So every time when LLM generate any kind of response, that response is get evaluated using these documents. Okay. And this is how back in the end the things are working based upon the making the LLM alignment. Okay. Alignment. So now this LLM alignment is done by using a low cost is low. Then faster means we don't have to depend upon the human to evaluate it. Then quality. Now quality is not also not be compromised. Why? Because the rules are being created by a human, but it is cross verified by multiple people, right? So your databases is always be factually correct. So your quality of answer will also be correct, because earlier the human is evaluating. So human is not be going to evaluate all your answer with the correct values and correct things, right? So now it is also handling the quality as well as quantity. Okay. So this is how you can align your LLM using the RL based verifiable rewards. Okay. Yes. So now let's discuss a last point on this. Okay. Yeah. Now let's discuss like what is the key takeaways. Okay. So let's read some point over here and then I will give you some insights on this. So the key takeaways are very simple, that verifiable rewards make RN alignment scalable and objective, that we have discussed. That it is very scalable. Now, if you are thinking to develop a tool which is will going to work for a front end, back end, UI, then testing, then you can say any kind of ML based model you want to integrate or databases. Now, this AI based agentic AI things can do it for you very easily. But earlier it is not factually correct that we can get totally dependent on that, right? That yes, the AI will going to take care of it. But now we can say why? Because the things are getting verified not by the human, by the technology itself. Okay. Now, second thing, industry adoption is growing. So like as we know that the transformation of this AI based domain is taking very faster. Like in 2019 we have started with the in 2017 we started with the transformer, but still people are not be aware like transformer is the correct architecture or not. Why? Because of one very major problem, that is transfer learning. Because in 2017 itself the transfer learning came into the market. Or else you can think like if some company is using that transformer creating the LLM, but that LLM if not having a capability to make a transfer learning, then it is not possible for AI to grow. Why? Because every company don't have that cost to train their model on the entire world data or entire Wikipedia data, social media data, right? So that's why it is very much important for this transfer learning to came into the market. Then the era of LLMs came into the market just because some company have put in some kind of investment and taken the initiative like OpenAI, Anthropic, then Grok, then Microsoft, Google, and they all have created their own product. Like they Google have created Gemini, then Tesla created Grok, then Anthropic have their Claude, right? So many products have came into the market, but later on what they have tried to do, they have started working on the agentic AI, who cannot generate the answer like a human but also think like a human brain plus a human who can walk and talk. Okay. So giving the hands and legs to the AI model or a brain so that they become the agentic AI. So that simple are tools. Okay. And they are trying to make it more legally correct so that your AI should be legally correct. So it should follow all the ethics that we are going to discuss in the next session as well. Like that we are going to start at 5. Okay. So that is also we are going to discuss in very detail about this legal ethics about this and consideration of this part. Then your alignment should your AI should be aligned in such a way that it should not going to hurt the human sentiment, or it will not be going to hallucinate, or it should not be going to do opposite work as the human expected. Sometimes me as a human I am not able to convey a right message to the AI based technology, but I am expecting that AI should try to understand what I exactly want, right? But now this AI is becoming more smarter to think like a human, to think like upon your words. Like they are having a so many context of your data, that in previous what kind of conversation you have done, now they have a correct idea that what they have to speak and how they have to speak for you. Okay. So you can say it is like a personal assistant who know what to behave in front of me. Okay. Then apart from this, the automated verification has been enabled, which is making the process very faster. Now we don't have to depend upon any humans or all these things, or we don't have to invest any money on this part. Okay. So the future direction is very simple. It should be accurate, safe, and should be very efficient. That's very correct. Then apart from this, real time alignment. Real time alignment is one of the best thing. Like now company don't have to depend upon any agency to get their answer so that they can optimize their LLM model. Now the company can directly put directly in front of the customer whatever changes they have done in the real time, because now they are aligning their model in front of their customer. Like if the customer is not happy with the answer will going to be generated faster and will be in good manner as per the expectation. Then self verification, that is also one of the great point, right? That you are verifying the model based upon the inputs given by the user. At the same time you are verifying also that whether factually it is correct or not, legally it is right or not. So you are doing so many verification in such a faster process. Then you are also doing a cross domain alignment. Means maybe the particular task that you are asking, maybe it requires a multitasking agent, like multimodal kind of things, right? So that has been also be very much important in that case. And why it matters? It is very matters. Why? Because of the healthcare domain, financial domain cannot take a risk on this part, right? Because these are the sensitive domain like healthcare and finance. So if they are working very good in this domain, then definitely we can say this AI product we can deliver directly to the market, to the customer. Because finance, wealth is one thing that company is relying on, and health is one thing that the company, no, not a company, but individual is looking for, right? So in these two domain, it is still it will going to take us some time to get integrated. Okay. So yeah, this is what the complete overview about this topic and the implementation. Yeah. Any queries from anyone? Please let me know. Yeah, if you have any question, just let me know in the chat box or something like this. Yeah. Any question from anyone? Okay. Yeah. Is it clear? Please let me know. Yeah. Fine. Okay. So yeah, Shubha, that's it for this class. We can continue at 5, the next session, the ethical consideration in AI. Shubha, you are on mute. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's it for this class. We will start at 5, the next session, which is taken by me only. That is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Consideration. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sure. We'll have a break now. At sharp 5 again. We'll be starting the next session, right?
Yeah, yeah. Correct. That's correct.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Fine. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. Bye.
I request all the participants that the next session will be starting at 5 p.m. That will be led by sir only. So kindly request you to join back at 5 o'clock. After that, we'll have a valedictory ceremony at 6:30, followed by the test. I request all the participants to be on the call till the end of the test.